Can everybody hear me? Yeah. Okay. So welcome everybody to the second webinar in the Leaders Tomorrow 2017 series. So I'm Alex Keedy, management consultant here at Accenture. And on my left, I have.
I'm also a management consultant at Accenture. I joined Alex about a year ago.
Okay, and in the room then we have Darren Shane from Groopeze, who are co-founders of Groopeze, obviously, and the winners of the Leaders of Tomorrow in 2015. And on my left, I have Norma O'Mahony, who is the co-founder of Effy and also a finalist in the Leaders of Tomorrow 2014. So what we'll do now is kick off into the kind of first part of the show, where we're going to talk about the Leaders of Tomorrow competition. And with that, we have a slide deck. So we'll kind of power through that. So the agenda for today is going to be just an overview of the competition, an overview of the timelines, the application kind of process and how that works, round by round requirements, just to give you a sense of what it looks like over the next 6 or 7 months, the development days, 1 and 2, which we have a bit of an announcement about, a startup tour, which again is a new feature of the 2017 Leaders Tomorrow competition, and then to finish off, then kind of what's in it for you. So what happens after the Leaders Tomorrow, and then to finish off, given we are a couple of weeks or 3 weeks now from the deadline to apply, just how to apply and some kind of tips on best practice for that too. So what is the Leaders of Tomorrow? So it's 10 years old this year, and essentially the Leaders of Tomorrow was set up to identify and kind of foster new ideas coming from universities in Ireland and in Europe. So the criteria to apply, you have to be either in college or in a university, and that's at undergrad, master's or PhD level. And I suppose this year we are trying to expand our reach a little bit. We're targeting, we're trying to get applicants around from Europe. So if you're on the call or listening in and you are from Europe, so we really recommend that you apply. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out now if you want on the live chat, or you can email us after at leadersoftomorrow@accenture.com. But we'll crack on. So the competition, what does it do? Prepare, all the contestants that go through a series of rounds. If you're lucky enough to get through to the final, we have development days where we bring the finalists in for 2 days. It's essentially a boot camp where we go through all of the kind of aspects of a startup, from presentations to business models to kind of marketing and funding and pretty much everything that's involved. And then prizes. So we have a few prizes, and I'll talk about that a bit later. So the competition timeline. So how does it work? So there's 3 rounds. And right now we're obviously in the first round, Deadlines for the 2017 competition close on the 4th of December. So up to 22nd of November, about two and a half weeks left. We take applications on a new tool this year. It's called Platform Avenue. And there's more information about that at the end of this call. So once you're through, we get all the applications in on the 4th of December. We're going to spend the next month or so to go through them and try and get them down to the next kind of, let's say, 18 finalists for the second round. The first round is just a quick kind of, it's a brief summary of your business problem, the solution that you're trying to bring forward, and also a bit about the team as well. This year, we would highly recommend applicants to application, because we love getting videos in. It's great to see the applicants live, just kind of get a feel for who you are as well as the problem solution that you're trying to bring forward. So the second round then, it's 31st of January through to the 16th of February. So we'll send out the list of people that got through to the second round towards the end of January. And then on the 16th February 2017, we're going to have a kind of meet and greet or Dragon's Den presentation that's going to be held in the Accenture head offices in Dublin. It's going to be a more developed understanding of your business. You're going to have to prepare a presentation, and then you pitch that then to a panel of judges made up of Accenture leadership, business leaders from Dublin, and maybe some past winners from previous years in the Leaders of Tomorrow. So moving forward then, if you get through to the final round, if you're lucky enough to get through, then it's kind of mid-March. Then it's when it starts to get a bit real. So we host development days. So that's 2 days of development. One is hosted in the NDRC, which we are lucky enough to be in today, and then one is hosted in Accenture. And then after those 2 development days, then the final of the Leaders of Smart 2017, it's held in the Accenture head offices in Dublin. And essentially, it's a more, let's say, thorough Dragon's Den pitch. So we would expect, your business over the last 6 months, if you're in the competition, to have a clear kind of, let's say, pitch deck ready for the final day. And again, that's pitched to leaders across Dublin, Accenture leadership, and then a few other people there too. Move on. So what are we looking for in this competition then? So obviously, to demonstrate insight and clarity of thought, thought leadership and innovation. We're not, we don't look for any particular type of business, but if you're a social entrepreneur and you want to apply, we'd highly encourage that. In fact, we love getting those applications in because it adds another element to the work that we do, and we love working with social entrepreneurs too. So social or commercially viable businesses are perfectly fine. If your idea leverages digital technology or is kind of digitally marketed to deliver the solution, then that's great. If it's not, that's not the end of the world, because most businesses these days, you can incorporate an element of digital into your business for sure. So over the 6 months that the competition goes on, definitely there's room and scope to kind of change your idea. And then finally, just deliver a practical real world solution. So what that means is, just, is it an honest problem? Is it something that's, that has a clear kind of solution, something that you want to fix? Is it clearly identified and clearly communicated? Then for sure, go for it. Let's get the applications in now, and we'll try and work on those, through the rounds as you progress. So what's in it for you? So the main benefits, I suppose, of the competition is the experience you get over the 6 months. But specifically, I suppose, to Dublin's tech or startup scene in general. So most of the work we do, we have partnerships with the NDRC, as I said before. The team that run the Leaders of Tomorrow have good connections with with startups in Dublin. Some of us had startups before, and we've got some people in Accenture too that are currently working on startups. So there's really good connection that you can get through the competition. You'll also meet your peers that enter the competition too. It's a great stepping stone from university or from whatever it is you're doing in third level to kind of get into that space. Development of your startup obviously is one of the big things from the competition. So you go through the 6 months, and the pace of change is huge over those 6 months. So with the kind of support you get from the team through the competition, the development days, and getting prepared for the final, your business will develop a lot and change a lot over that time. And then personally, just personal development is really big. You'll definitely you come out of this competition or experience with a really good development in your own self and the way you work and how you kind of think about approaching problems, and I think that's really great. So we'll move on. So the development days, so what are they? So if you get through to the final, we host 2 days. One in the NDRC, which is more focused on, and if you're not familiar with the NDRC, it's the National Digital Research Hub, Research Centre, sorry. It's hosted in the kind of heart of Dublin. It's right beside the Guinness Storehouse, one of the oldest startups in the world, let's say, here based in Dublin. So it's in a really cool location. The work that they do with early stage startups is known around Ireland for sure, around Europe. They're one of the best. They are one of the best kind of incubators of their kind. So we do have a partnership with them. Here, as I said, it's more about business models, preparing your business model canvas, going through presentation skills, and then getting a chance to kind of see what the kind of place is like, and hear maybe from a couple of the startups that are based here. The second development day is then hosted in the Accenture head offices. That development day is more around, definitely around presentation skills. So there's a kind of a section on how to present your idea well, both as standing up as a person, but also your deck as well. So you do a lot of work on that. We take the learning from the first day, and then we on business models, and we kind of apply it to the second day to kind of further that and get you prepared for the final. And so I suppose they're the 2 days. And through those 2 days, then we feel that you get a really great kind of preparation for the final, which is typically held a few weeks after the final development day. So I guess the first big announcements of today is that we're kind of changing, kind of run the development days, let's say. So this year, what we're going to be doing is for all of the finalists that get through, they'll have an opportunity to come to Dublin, location in the heart of the city, and essentially, as a kind of finalist group, you're going to have a set of deliverables to run to get prepared, and they're going to be baked into the development days. And what that means is essentially we're paying for you guys to come up here to Dublin. We'll put you up. I give you a set of tasks to do. So it's kind of like a boot camp, let's say, to kind of test your idea, to kind of go out into the market and bring it back into the real world. Bring back into either Accenture or NDRC and come back with that learning. So it's a different flavor. So I think one of the best things about it is that you get to meet your finalist group, get to stay in the same place, work on the startup. I think it's really cool. It's a really cool experience, and that's both open to domestic applications, so people from Ireland, and also European applications. So if you are applying, it doesn't matter where you're from. It's going to be we're basically paying. We're going to put you up in Dublin, and you're going to have that. You're going to live that experience. So that's going to happen around mid-March time as well. And again, that's open to all finalists that get through this year. So the prizes, this would be, let's say, the second big announcements of this webinar. So I'll just run through what's there already. So basically, first of all, brilliant to get that far and brilliant to win it. There's a commission trophy for the winner's university. There is an innovation experience, which we're going to talk about a bit more with the guys here in the room. And there's also then the opportunity to come to the NDRC's Launchpad program for 3 months. So that's typically what we've done. That's been the prize over the last few years. But this year, we're kind of adding, I think, going to really, really help the overall package. It's going to be a €5,000 boost fund from the Leaders of Tomorrow team. So what that will really help you do is to try and just kind of give that kind of cash injection, that cash boost into your startup to try and allow you to, let's say, take your idea, after you win, and bring it to, give it, let's say, just give it a kind of, a good boost at the start. So overall, the total package, it's actually really great. You get the €5,000 fund, you get the spot on the NDRC Launchpad program, the innovation experience, which that's basically, again, an all expenses paid trip to one of our innovation centers around the world. Typically that's been New York. We've also had trips to San Francisco, to the Silicon Valley. So a really great opportunity to meet, first of all, Accenture people over there, but also to, do your own networking, to meet potential investors over in the Valley or in New York, and meet startups over there too. So the overall package is, I think it's really brilliant. And this year with the cash, with the boost fund, the €5,000 boost fund, it really adds to the overall, I think, the overall winning package, let's say. So the application. So if you're thinking of applying, highly recommend it. You've literally got nothing to lose. At this point, it's not the most difficult application process to run through. So as I said, all you need to do is visit accenture.com/LOT, log on to the Platform Avenue tool and submit your idea. I suppose, again, I would, at this point, really encourage you guys to apply via video. It really adds to the overall application. And if you have any questions, just reach out to us. It's leadersoftomorrow@accenture.com. So yeah, we'll go. So at this point then, let's crack on then with the chat with the guys here.
Okay. I suppose we want to start at Darren Shape and Groopeze to give us an overview with what your journey was like in Leaders of Tomorrow from start to finish, and how it developed Groopeze competition.
Well, I'll let Darren do that because I actually wasn't on the competition. I wasn't a student at the time, but Darren was. So.
Yeah, we found it extremely good at the start. Initially, it was kind of like Shane and myself were both in the competition together. I suppose to give you an idea what Groopeze is, it's an online marketplace that combines a live booking engine like Booking.com with a group management platform that essentially gives complete autonomy to the individual group members. So that's what we applied with. We had a kind of an alpha platform in the marketplace at the time. So we kind of started trading a little bit, running some ads and getting a couple of customers. And then when we saw Leaders of Tomorrow competition, we're kind of weighing up the benefits of entering and the time commitment that we have to put into it. So we were thinking, at the outset that it was going to be very heavy. There'd be a lot of time involved, and would we get that benefit from it? But we said, heck, let's go with it. And it wasn't. It was a streamlined process. It was very easy to apply. Going through the process, every single thing we had to do for the competition, we found very beneficial, and it really helped the company as well. And that went right the way through from the 2 development days that we had. So looking at kind of ourselves as entrepreneurs, also looking at the business, pulling that apart, looking for the holes, and doing the lean model canvas here with Gary in the NDRC, and right the way through to the experience of pitching, kind of in the semi-final, just getting that experience with the senior people in Accenture, and then the final itself, where you get to kind of pitch to a team of our judging panel that has people that you'd never get in the same room. We had, I think it was the CIO from RSA, we the senior person from LinkedIn, all in the same room. We got the opportunity to pitch to them and then get their feedback. And then winning the prize then, of course, was unbelievable, and the experiences we got from that.
And say the winning part, then I suppose immediately you probably got quite a lot of publicity. Or what were the major benefits of the prize? I know there's the NDRC Launchpad. So in general, what was say like your 6 months like after winning the competition?
Yeah, we got a bit of newspaper press, didn't we? Which was great. We got into the Irish Times a couple of times. It definitely helped. Being on the Accenture Boost was a really good thing. We got that ran through the summer, and we got loads of kind of mentorship out of that. And then we were also making connections within Accenture, which is great. And
the Boost program was last year, was it?
It was summer 2015. Yeah. And then, of course, we went to the States. Then, as part of the prize, and that was brilliant.
The innovation tour,
yeah. Yeah, we did. We went out. Well, we went to California. We actually got quite lucky. As you know, Peter broke his arm around the time that we were supposed to be going away, which meant he couldn't do California, but he still wanted to go. So we got to go to New York with him at a later date as well. So in California, we got to meet a lot of all these great people out there on the Irish tech startup scene. It's really, really great. We met like 17 people in 3 days, and Alistair Blair, the CMO, the director was there with us, as well as Ethna, the head of marketing here, and we got a lot of good connections, a lot of great networking out of that, which was really, really great. So and then the New York trip was also great, which was some months later. That was probably more of a fun trip, rather than a business trip. So we got a lot of that was great actually.
So you got the chance to go to New York and San Francisco. Yeah. Okay. So you happy with that?
Yeah, we were very happy with that. It was brilliant. We had such a great time. We in New York, we managed to get there. Well, actually, when we were in California, we'd gotten chatting to Paul Doherty, who's the CTO of Accenture Global, and he had said that when we were back in New York to come during the Tribeca Film Festival, because we had tickets to go, and so we did, and we got in. We got loads of tickets to all these amazing film things and
screenings
screenings, and we actually got to go to all the after shows. So we ended up like Harvey Keitel and Robert De Niro, Martin Scorsese, like we were kind of swanning around with all these guys for our New York trip, which was just like we couldn't believe that.
Yeah.
That was just,
Did you get Robert De Niro's autograph?
Well, no, we thought we'd play that one cool, and he said, "Look, we'll get the autograph off him later in the night." But sure, he
right, okay.
That opportunity.
Fair enough. Cool. So that was the innovation tour experience then. So, and how are you getting on now then? I mean, so what's the current? So it's almost a year now since you applied, or sorry, about 2 years now since you applied.
2 years since we applied. Yeah, we've been looking up. We've been growing kind of year on year. The team's been growing, and we're moving into kind of new markets. So, like Groopeze essentially is a technology stack that sits behind. We have different websites.
Yeah.
So we recently launched one, unitripper.com. So that targets university groups, so classes, booking societies, and they're going on the various trips. they can make a booking through unitripper.com and then handle all the payments. And it takes care of all that stuff as well. So we've just literally been growing and expanding, and we're looking good for next year. We're multiples of where we were this time last year, and so the future looks bright, and we just have to keep our head down, keep the tail up, and keep plugging away. Everything keeps going according to plan. But like any startup, there's always humps, there's always roundabouts, turns. You just have to kind of roll with the punches and weather the storms. But if you keep with it, it seems to pay off.
Has it expanded outside of Ireland now?
To a certain extent, but we're still primarily, so our advertising is still primarily focused on our Irish customers.
Okay.
But we have been starting to get customers from abroad because we get business and things like that. So people that might be on one trip with us from abroad, then they come back and they use the system again then for a trip that they have. But might be abroad.
And I suppose probably a lot of people on the call who are thinking about entering, they'd be on the NDRC Launchpad program as well. So they'd be using Dublin as a test bed as well for their startup. So how have you found it, or how have you found the startup community or the network here? Or that there is much ability to scale globally after kind of setting up here?
Yeah, like the NDRC is great. We're in a room with all these really great people. We've made a lot of good friends. I think not only will they be good network connections for life, they'll be good friends for life as well. Like I don't know, I'm not sure how far we'd have been able to get without having this space here. I don't know, when you're an online business, it doesn't really matter where you are. So it doesn't matter that we're in Dublin. We could probably do it in Cork as well. Use Ireland as a test bed market is definitely a good, positive thing about being an Irish startup.
Why is that? Like, so what is it about the market that makes it a good?
Well, it's small,
test bed,
it's small, and it's English speaking, and I suppose bigger players outside of Ireland aren't really looking in, seeing what our Irish people do. It's too small, and they don't really think about it and care. So you can kind of say, well, look, I'll use this small segment here and test all my technology, what works, what doesn't work, and and then it's also it's an English-speaking Westernized society. So what works here is generally going to work. In most places.
I think something about the Irish market as well is that we're very outward focused from the very start. So when you build a company in Ireland, not many startups will build with the view to conquer Ireland, and that's their big goal. The view is to go global from the very start, and I think that mindset really helps a startup have that big goal from the very beginning, which means that they aim big and they end up doing very well as well.
Because you can't build a business in Ireland and expect that it's only going to be Irish, and it work. It's just not going to happen. So you have to get out of the building, as Steve Blank says.
So I guess that's right. Go ahead.
I was going to say there's also two other great things that you have in Ireland. One is the talent pool. So there's a lot of great, highly educated people around there seems to be, and it's probably because of the ecosystem that's here, there's people that are happy to join startups and get involved in startups. Obviously, we have Twitter and Facebook, and companies like Accenture out there as well that as a startup you're competing against. But there's kind of an open mind, and there are people out there that once they graduate, or not long after they graduate, they'd like to give startup life a go, and that's either create their own or join them. And then the second thing is there's lots of brilliant government initiatives and grants out there, places like the NDRC, which I think is in the top 2% of accelerators in the world. So there's a great ecosystem and infrastructure here, from a point of view, from mentorship, and obviously then from the talent pool that we have here as well.
It's a really good point, and it's a perfect segue into the next, I suppose, for Norma here, co-founder of Effy, 2014 finalist as well. So I suppose your story is brilliant as well, and you have benefited from those government supports in Ireland and Dublin specifically. Do you want to talk about a little bit about what's on offer here? And I suppose if you're based in Ireland, what's on offer from your own experience?
Sure. I suppose if I was to start from the beginning, what Effy is it's a staff optimization tool for retailers. And when we actually entered into the competition, we were a staff scheduling tool. And although we weren't winners that year, we have been supported by Accenture ever since, helping us. So when we started to see the power that data can have in terms of making staff scheduling not faster, or not just faster, or not just less of a headache, but actually a better staff schedule, we were able to reach out to Accenture and get help when it came to that. So we were able to get some time with some of the top guys in Dublin when it came to IoT to help us implement that. And that meant that when we did go for pre-seed funding, which we got from Enterprise Ireland, which is a state body in Ireland which supports startups to, again, scale out of Ireland. And that's their whole focus for job creation and to expand out of Ireland. When we went to speak to those guys to get that pre-seed investment of the competitive start fund, we knew what we were talking about. And so at that stage, we were still quite an early stage company. We had a beta product, and we had some early customers on it. We had some customers who had agreed to pay us, and that's what we had. And we also had that big goal of what we were going to create, the value we were going to create for our customers, but also how far we were going to go. And then the Irish ecosystem help you get to the next level, and that's what the competitive start fund is for.
And like, you know, you finish up with the Leaders Tomorrow, that experience. What was that kind of time frame between finishing up there and kind of moving on to the next steps? So kind of going from, you know, the Accenture competition to then, you know, maybe some of the government funding opportunities or things like New Frontiers that are running as well. So like, what does that look like, or for you, what did that look like?
Well, when we finished up the Leaders of Tomorrow competition back in 2014, we unfortunately didn't win the place on the NDRC Launchpad, and that's part of the prize package, which meant that the backing of an accelerator like the NDRC, we didn't have funding at that point, and we didn't have tech in our core skill set, which means that we had to do a bit of extra work part-time to work on Effy for a while. That being said, from being part of the competition, similar to the guys from Groopeze, we got a lot of press and things like that. And directly from that visibility, we ended up getting an angel investor approach us. And then we also, again, down to the Irish supports, there's a Enterprise Ireland competition called the Irish IBY, Irish
Best Young Entrepreneur.
Best Young Entrepreneur. And we won our area for that as well, which means we won a bit of funding there as well. We had some backing behind us, both in terms of the money, which was great, but also legitimacy. So when we were young entrepreneurs going out there, we had people who believed us and took a chance, which means we could go and get the customers. So then,
outside of funding, was there much like interaction with Accenture after the competition? Was it kind of like or like did the network help in any way? Any skills gap?
Hugely. So you know, we had Effy when we were in final year in undergrad. So there was a lot of things we still needed to learn, and there was a lot of knowledge gaps that we had in our team. But we were fortunate enough that we had in Accenture, we had the Leaders of Tomorrow team, but they were very willing to go out to the broader Accenture Ireland as information we could there. So we were able to have support from them because they were always wondering what we were up to and what the next step was and how we were going to get there. But we also, they put, I suppose, their skills where we could access them as well. So we were able to get sit downs to talk to people about, but also things like IoT as well, which was a huge help.
And I suppose even in terms of Effy, like kind of what stage you're at the moment and what are the next plans going forward?
So we have a basic product which we're really proud of, which we have customers on, paying customers, and that's great. We have Enterprise Ireland funding, which we got back in January, which has been a great benefit as well, not just in terms of the money, but the support that comes with that as well. Because you know, you always get told if you're going to take on money, take smart money. So we've been very mindful of that to look at people who are going to help us get to the next stage. So that has meant that when we've gone over to the UK market, or we've also had a visit to the French market, we were able to tap into the Enterprise Ireland network there and get introductions, which makes it a really worthwhile visit. So that means that now we're at a place where we have our basic product, which has paying customers on, which is great. And then we also have our staff optimization tool, which is where the real, I suppose, excitement is in the product, and that's where the real value is going to be. Because as I said, that's where we're going to actually make retailers more money. So that's really exciting. That's in beta testing at the moment.
Okay.
So we're starting to get some really cool metrics on that.
So what's that going to look like? What does it do, like the staff optimization do?
Well, it is, so in retail stores, they have loads of different data points. So they have things like the football data, so they can tell how many people come into the store at any point in the day. They have sales data, so they can tell how much anybody spends at any point in the day. And then we also plug into things like the weather, local events, whether it's in store or around the store that will affect it. We plug all that in. So then Effy will recommend to the manager in the store, you don't have enough staff on a Tuesday evening at 6 o'clock. If you need to put an extra person on in the footwear department. And the goal of it is to make the retailer more money, either through increasing the amount of sales they do, or else decreasing what they're spending on labor costs when it doesn't pay to have that person on. So it just brings scheduling, it's not just easier, it's a much smarter staff schedule that you've in place, so customers have a better experience.
This sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
All right. And you guys, so the guys from Groopeze organising stag parties, you know, all that kind of crack. How's that going? Any funny stories from stag parties? Like that?
We get a lot of random requests. So everything from, we had one group not so long ago looking to something to do with a goat. They wanted a goat involved in the stag party.
That's definitely not on the platform, is it?
No.
Not
We
yet.
offer a lot, but not goats.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, so that's a bit of time, I suppose, for the webinar. I just want to say thanks everybody for coming on. I really appreciate your time. And good, brilliant stories, and I think great success stories for both companies. To wrap up, or to like kind of final question, let's say. So both different years. There's people just thinking about applying right now. What is your one or two pieces of advice at this point to give to the people on the call or whoever's watching after?
I think you hit the nail on the head. You've nothing to lose. To enter the first round, it'll take 5 minutes, and when you can take a little idea snowflake and you can grow it into a snowball and into a snowman. If you just keep at it, and the prizes, like even the cash, the boost prize,
Boost one, yeah.
that's it. The prize has improved even since last year, or since 2015 when we got it. And that was an outstanding prize.
Yeah.
What I would say is, don't worry about not having a solid idea. If you have bare bones of an idea, just get it in there. You can develop it as you go along. Pivoting is a big word in early startups anyway.
So pivot. So you're going to change it like
you probably are going to
10
change
times
it.
over the course. Yeah.
Totally, you could do. So don't be wedded to an idea or thinking it's not good enough. Just
Yeah, I'd say just do it. Submit an application. I think most people have an idea, and what separates people with an idea from entrepreneurs is actually doing something about it.
Yeah.
And this is a great way to take that kind of risk-free first step of doing something about it.
Absolutely, yeah.
So when we initially applied with Effy was just a couple of scribbles on a piece of paper of what we planned, and that's what we went through the competition with. And because of the support we got at the end of the competition, we had something much more concrete that resulted in us getting angel investors. So it's a great place to just start. So just gonna give it a go. Nothing to lose, as the lad said, and everything to gain.
Cool. Great place to just start. I like it. Okay, so we'll close it up there. So yeah, two big announcements, I suppose, this year. Boost Fund, so €5,000 fund for the winner this year, which is amazing in my opinion. And then also the new startup experience that we're going to have. So especially an all expenses paid experience in Dublin to go through the development days and I guess kind of flesh out your product, flesh out your business, and then get it ready for the final. So from me, thanks everyone that's on the call or on the webinar. Happy to take questions now. Using the live chat, will be online for about 5 minutes or so after. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to put them up there, or email the leaders of tomorrow at accenture.com, or go to accenture.com/LOT for any more information. Everything's up there if you want to find out more. There's a few videos up there, and then also the link to apply. So I finish off just kind of thanks again, guys. Thanks Fiona, Norma, Shane, and Dara, and best of luck. So we'll be on this for the next 5 or so minutes. So any questions, feel free to ping them on.